Click like and subscribe to Song of Sunset. Hello, I'm Brian Craig Hinderberger, and welcome to Song of Sunset on YouTube. If you like what you see, please give a like and a subscribe. Today, we're going to be talking about modernizing music tips. GiGTip is a platform built specifically for performers, musicians, artists, anyone who is working the small stage. And this platform is really to help artists obtain tips in a cashless world. Now, GiGTip allows fans to tip instantly using their Apple Pay, Google Pay, and they don't need an app. And what makes it really cool is you don't need to set up a business license, and you don't need a credit card gateway and all that stuff, all that friction. So GiGTip allows you, removes all that. And beyond that, GiGTip allows you to connect with your audience by giving them links to your Spotify channel, your streaming channels, and it basically turns your live experience into an interactive experience to your stuff. And joining to me today is Philip Rogan. He is this founder of GiGTip. And Philip, thanks for joining me today.
Hey Brian, it's great to be here.
Hey, and I really love what you've done. You're removing the barriers for an independent artist, and it's really cool to see how I'm really want to dig into this tool and how it's changing performers' approach to tipping. Now, I'm really interested to understand what motivated, what inspired you to create this platform for independent musicians.
Well, we have a lot of friends, you musicians and performers, and we had a lot of talks about how the traditional model of record, promote, and sell records was just gone, is leaving because of all these subscription processes that are happening on subscription services. And we're looking for where the money is, where's the revenue, and it really is in live performances. But what I realized also was many of the performers just had very little business acumen. They didn't know how to make more money, and tipping just kind of elevated through our discussions a little bit more. And it seemed like there was a hole there that could be filled, which was making it easier for audiences to show their gratitude without, having cash on them or having their own Venmo accounts.
Yeah. And, I was one of the first users of this, and I have to say it was really cool. Just, it did open up new worlds. I mean, having the cards on the table and people scanning the card, and I just saw that a moment whenever people did that at the table. It's like, oh wow, look at this, oh it's easy, and then get that little buzz in my pocket from a tip while people from my phone. It was really cool. And it's a new world, actually. One of the things about tipping in receiving tips is it's just a really nice pat on the back. And what I kind of want to stay on script about tipping, but what would you advise to those musicians out there who have your platform? How do you what's your best, explain your your success stories? I'm sorry.
No, I follow you. So it's been an entire year refining it and testing it and collecting data, and the data is very clear on a few things. So I can be very concise about this. So for example, if you're a busker, one QR code out in front instead of 4 really gets that moment where people are showing gratitude. It takes all the noise out of their choice. They just go right to that one QR code. And in fact, I've seen buskers who will stop in the middle of their act and just, if they have a crowd around them, will just walk with their card. Then people just boom, 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 boom. And
oh, wow.
Buskers account for, I think, they're twice as much on a volume level. They have twice as many tips in my system than traditional bands do.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah. Buskers accounted for over, okay, I should say we have only about a dozen people really using the product right now because it's
Mhm.
just starting to grow. But we cleared our $7,000 paid out to performers this week. So,
Congratulations.
yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
happy about that because that means there's $7,000 in the hands of people who are performing.
Wow. Wow.
Buskers account for over $2,000 of that, and their average tip is about 7.5 bucks, um, which is saying something. If they're just reaching in their wallet, they're going to grab a couple bucks, but if they have their phone, they'll start at 5, and they'll
Yeah.
go up from there for
Yeah.
the most part.
Yeah.
Uh, if you're a
Mhm.
band, I can see the graph in my system.
Mhm.
Right when they go to break, 90% or more of the tips happen to break. So if you're on a band and you're getting ready for a break, you don't have to beg for tips and ask for tips. All you got to do is say, hey, everybody, we're taking a break. If you want to learn more about us or give us a tip, there's a QR code right here or on the tables. That's
Wow.
it. That script right there is what gets you paid. And jazz musicians, jazz bands, their average tip is $22. Their average tip.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Um, and so it's interesting to see the different types of performers and
Yeah.
how they are succeeding in this.
Mhm.
The biggest surprise for me, well, the jazz tips was a surprise, but not hard to explain. For
Yeah.
a more affluent audience, they tend to not have they're older, don't have Venmo.
Mhm.
But the thing that was the big surprise for me is that my biggest performers really are buskers.
Wow. That is surprising, and it actually makes sense. Recently, I broke out my acoustic guitar and I said, "You know what? I'm gonna go busk on our art walk downtown Bend, Oregon on First Friday." And I brought my little tip bucket, and I I saw that a lot of people. I wish I would have brought my GiGTip little flyer with me, because a lot of people, they stopped and they tapped their
Mhm.
pocket, and nobody. I mean, it's rare. It's getting rarer and rarer for people to carry around cash these days.
Yeah.
And I got some quarters and a $5 bill here and there, but having that accessibility is huge. And I could see that, especially in the wild, where the buskers going to where the traffic's at, and that would be a huge. I could see why this would be a very popular, or uh, way to ease the friction of the tip. And yeah. So,
Yeah.
and
I
additionally, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would say, well, in creating this, I'm a musician as well, and in the business we call it dog fooding.
Mm.
Work with your own product. So I went and I busked at Pike's Place Market in Seattle,
Oh wow, that's
and
fun.
it's a kind of a big venue to busk at. I'm not
Yeah,
really an experienced busker, but I was like, oh, I gotta. I've never been so afraid in my life. I've been on stage. I was on stage last night. I've been on stage a bunch, and I'm
I
never really
know.
nervous about it. But beyond,
There's
stage
something
diving,
weird about it.
busking is scary. I
It
mean,
is scary.
you feel like you're in their space. They're walking around. They're talking to each other, and there you are off on the side, just kind of playing music.
Yeah.
Uh, and I learned things just from doing it myself. I learned to make the busking cards different. In fact, there are new busking cards on the system for you to download that are more appropriate for busking. There's a much
Mhm.
bigger QR code, and they're turning much more stuff in. So
Yeah.
to your point, by the way, I have a term for what you described. It's called a bluff charge.
The
In
bluff charge. Oh.
Bluff charge. In Montana, we used to call a bear would run at you and then stop just in front of you and go away
Yeah.
to see what you do. It's called a bluff charge. But in busking and in tipping, the e-tipping, it's when people tap their and they sometimes they'll even go so far as take their phone out and point and walk away and not actually tip. But they
Yeah.
want to feel for that moment. They want to feel like they don't
Yeah.
want to feel like Chiefgate. Maybe I don't know what their big concern is. But yeah, we bluff charging is something we see.
Mm.
I hear from another thing that I hear from my performers, which is an interesting phenomena. I think we should study that.
Yeah, but additionally, even if they don't tip, you're getting them to your material, and I think that's the one of the beautiful
Yeah,
sides of your platform is, yeah, wow, look at this. This is their page and their music, and even if they don't tip, there's some you're giving them the pathway to your music, in no way that was possible before, and that's really cool. Yeah.
I'm really happy to say that the social links,
Mhm.
they don't get a lot of play, and it's because the system is designed to get that tip going.
Mhm.
But I have one band, Blue Velvet Groove. They're the feature artist on the homepage tonight. You were the feature artist last month.
Yeah, that was
They're the
cool.
feature artist this month, and they've added over 1,000 followers last year. Um,
Wow.
how much of that I can attribute to GiGTip, unfortunately, I can't say for sure because I actually kind of treat the platform in a very private. I have a lot of privacy hooks and
Mhm.
policies. One of
Mhm.
which is I don't mention any financial information or how people are doing. So when we talk about case
Mhm.
studies, I can talk about the system, but not
Sure.
specific
Yeah.
people. But also, I don't track. The only thing I track and the only thing I charge for is the credit card
Mhm.
uh, transactions with Apple Pay and Google Pay, and that is the one benefit that GigTip offers that other systems don't. You don't have to have a business license or any kind of. All you have to do is you don't even have to have a debit card. You can get a debit card from the partner eTip.io that does the eTip
Mhm. That's gr
transaction. So anybody, one of my most successful buskers doesn't have a home address. Runs in a van. Right now,
Yeah.
he's going through. I think he's heading down to San Diego. I think he's in Southern California, and he's on the road. He doesn't have a traditional business model, but he's one of the
Yeah.
most popular performers on my system, and I feel like he's getting some real benefit. I'm helping
Yeah.
this guy get gas money, and that's what makes me get up in the morning and work on.
That's really cool, and, the other thing I like to talk about is how you split it up. I mean, you can give a band leader the ability to split up a tip, and can you talk a little bit about that? How they do
Sure.
it?
It's funny. There are a few people in my system that use it, but they're classified as festivals
Mhm.
because with GigTip, not only can you just gather tips, but you can also list other tip on your tip page. So, for example, there's an event happening this Saturday, Pisces Fest
Mhm.
was our first festival. We're doing it again this year.
Okay.
Pisces Fest is not a traditional gig tip jar in that there is credit card, Venmo, and then social links. Gig tip allows you to add other tip jars to your tip jar. So it's Pisces Fest is the mass tip jar. So if people use that, they split it at the end of the day. But
Mhm.
also, all the performers at the festival have their own tip jars that you can go directly to. So if you see a performer that's one QR code for the whole festival, but if you see a performer and you want to tip them directly, it's very easy to do. You just press on their tip jar and
Wow.
you're on your way. So in that case, everybody inside the tip jar is set up in the system to automatically pay out by percentage based on the promoter sets that up, and no one has to wait for the end of the night to split tips. It's already done in real time. As
That
soon
is
as
so cool.
there's a $10 tip and it's a three-way split, everybody's got their $3 already, automatic.
Wow, and I mean, being a former band leader, that is, super important because, you want, it's you know, you one for you, one for me, one for you, and it's like, it's done already, and that's so, that's beautiful, and festivals, I mean, that seems like it would be a wonderful way to, because, in the festival world, you have so many people, and it's a way to drive uh, that attention and support in the right ways, and the really
Yeah.
cool. And
Festivals is a triple win I look at the value chain. Who benefits from this?
Mhm.
People don't have cash at festivals, flat out. They just don't have cash, and it's
Right,
not like you're gonna find an ATM in the middle of a pasture,
right,
at a Montana music festival.
right,
But as it happens, bandwidth seems to be everywhere. So,
right.
um, yeah, so they can be set up under one bill, and the biggest benefit I'm hearing from people who wanna use us for festivals is it's just one thing they don't have to worry about.
Yeah,
By
yeah,
using GiGTip, they completely eliminate all this effort and management and festivals and you know this, Brian, festivals are plan, 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 and then chaos, just
yeah,
knocking
yeah.
down tires and getting through the event because there's no pushing it off. There's no
No, it's
setting.
like you're up next, get them set up, and, they're not yeah, it's a rotating door to the stage, and there's and yeah, it is chaos. There's
Yeah,
especially if you're an event promoter, running the thing is just, yeah, the last thing you're gonna be thinking about collecting tips, so
yeah.
and
The biggest concern for festivals, believe it or not, is making sure the QR code works in a
Mhm,
high wind situation. That's the only problem they have. Like,
yeah,
make sure you tape it down good. They don't have
yeah.
to worry about the technology. They don't have to worry about the splits. Everybody signed up. It's just for a promoter. It's literally just nail your easels or whatever you're using down to the ground and walk away.
Yeah, you know what? And I think this model would really work for a few festivals here in Bend, Oregon in particular. We have this festival is called Bend Roots, and that festival is it's just an all weekend long event that has 100 over 100 acts, and they have one stage going on, and then the other stage goes on, and the other stage, and it's always it's going on like all weekend long, and it's all to support the Ben Roots Foundation, but the artists aren't getting paid for that per se. So enabling that tip function would be. I mean, I could see that being
Yeah, that sounds
huge
great. I
pain
want to
point
learn more
relief.
about that. I would love to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the
There's a
only other thing that I do that's similar to that is for the first time we're rolling out to comics.
mm,
Like comedy acts are almost always, first of all, uh, comics are individuals, but they always do a show together.
yeah.
They're like
Oh
3 or
yeah.
4 will do a show, but they're individuals. And so this festival system is ideal for them, and we're Pisces Fest, we're gonna have an entire floor of
Mm,
comics rotating in and out, and we're using it for the comic. It's gonna be an interesting test to see if, uh, once again, I think tipping because we offer table cards,
mhm.
by the way, you get a thing called a tip pack where you've got, like a large busking card. This is
Yeah.
the new large busking card, by the way.
Oh wow. Yeah.
You can read it from space.
Yeah.
But then,
Yeah, it's something
like,
that you
"Oh,
don't have to
this is
get too
yours." And
close.
then on yeah, you're familiar with these little
Oh, yeah,
table
that's there's mine right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're yours. So you put these on tables at these comic clubs, which typically have seating,
Mhm.
and, the proximity to the QR code is so immediate that we expect it to be pretty successful. So, I mean, GiGTip is for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I'm really excited to see the wide variety of people that are coming on and the way that they're using the links. I mean, a lot of people are setting their that you can copy any link into your social. So people are taking future events on their Facebook events calendar and just pasting them in.
Yeah, and yesterday, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, this weekend, I attended a film festival, and, the, venue, the Commonwealth Pub in Bend, I was talking to the owner, and they tried this model, but not necessarily the way you're doing it. They just basically put up a Venmo thing, and then they get stuck into the world of distributing the money, to,
Yeah.
and it's just, it didn't work out for them, and I honestly think that this type of can you talk a little bit about venues? If
Yeah.
have you had any venues use this model at all? So,
Well, I have kind of been holding off on venues. I've got
mhm,
venues who are very interested. I've got investors. Everybody's interested, but
yeah,
I'm protecting the artist. The artist comes first.
sure.
And when I talk to venues, I need to be absolutely clear with them that there's nothing in it for them other than
Mhm.
convenience
Oh,
because
that's
it's already slim tip margin revenue for these tip for the artists. So I'm not having conversations with for example, there's one in town, I won't say who they are.
mhm,
They're like, bring it in, we'll put a QR code, we'll put them on the tables, we'll like burnishing them into the tables, and we'll just rotate that out. Because you can change it at any moment. You can change your tip jar. It's always available to change in one tap.
mhm, mhm.
Um, and they're like, well, if it really works, we'll talk about the business end of it later. And I'm like, no, the business end of it is if you're offering tips for performers, they get the money.
Right.
That's that's the deal. I and so
I think that's a really good move because it is very competitive, especially with servers, and, it tips are a competitive world, and and yeah, it could get really muddy really quick.
Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to encourage a business model where tips are now being engulfed by the commoditization of like subscription models and all this stuff. I want to
Yeah,
keep it. I want to keep it. You know, I do this for the love of doing this. There's no money in it for tip is
yeah.
tip is
Well,
not there's no money in it. But I love writing code. I love
yeah,
creating new things, and
yeah.
I love helping friends, and I love hearing from. I see. I actually don't get a notification when you get a tip.
Hmm.
Um, because if I did, all the tippers would be pinging my phone.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
so I see it in the morning. I say, "Oh, shoot. Um, Ruby got an extra $100 last night. Yeah, that's awesome." Or,
Yeah, yeah.
and
That's great.
thankfully I've never received a support phone call. We've been up for a year and a half, even during testing, never had a failure on conversions for tip QR code conversion. We've had times where I've had to improve it for things, but now and then. But
Yeah,
so I don't I didn't want to get a business where I was really worried that the phone would ring because
yeah,
something's wrong.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and so far it's been I've been really fortunate that I really just taken the time to do it with a small audience before scaling out. And we're only scaling out now. It's everything is
yeah,
still based on a referral
yeah.
system. If you go to GigTip and you want to get on GigTip, there's a
Mhm.
big red button, get on GigTip. It doesn't go to a database. It just comes directly to me as an email, and then I
Mhm.
contact you and we talk about it. This is
That's
a
great.
human, non-AI. This is not a mill. This is not a
Yeah,
cigar chomping, you know, exploitation zone.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just want to make sure you're not a bot, and I want to I don't care what kind of performances you do. I respect all levels and all types of performances, but I need to make sure you're human,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
have an agreement that you won't game the system. That's it, and then
yeah,
you're it.
yeah. Well, that's incredible, and it just like the every startup or every there are going to be new things that you didn't even think of, and that they come up that you need to police and or enhance one of the two. But this is really great, and I really appreciate the time I didn't want to go too long, but if all the links that you are going to be in the comments below, and I would love to. Uh, talk with you in the future as things go on, and maybe this thing's like you mentioned, it's not only for musicians, it's for performers, and this could even go for a film festival. This could be for so many different things. So
Yeah.
really cool stuff.
Thanks,
And
Brian.
yeah, and and one tip that I have is your the venue matters. So, if you are in a tap house,
Yeah,
and or if you're at a resort, or if you're doing a house concert, the smaller the audience for some reason, like a house concert or a resort, you get the bigger the tip. And then the other, I love what you said about the busking. It's just so cool. But do you have anything else to add before we put pause and before we talk again?
sure. One quick thing just to comment about venues. I I'm actively commenting on Facebook, like Cover Band Central and some of
Mhm.
these Facebook groups to talk about tipping. And one of the things that comes up a lot is, when is it appropriate to put this thing out? When is it not the right thing to do? And my only advice to that is, read the room.
Right.
If it's a private event that you're being paid for, um, probably less appropriate than
Mhm.
if you're a no cover cafe environment.
Mhm.
But go with your gut. If you're
Yeah.
being paid for a private event and you feel like the audience may be more anonymous, or it may be in a scenario where you've been told, "Hey, we'll pay you a little less because you're getting exposure." When they say the word exposure, your word is, "I'm gonna put Gig Tip out because all my social links are on there."
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's
read the room, and don't feel like you don't deserve to be tipped, because
right.
it's not about deserving the tip. It's about
Right.
offering a way for people to show gratitude, because music is the one last thing we have
Yeah, it
that keeps our
is.
humanity together, and people really want it. They really want it, and in a
Yeah.
world of artificial AI,
Yeah.
um, produced and manufactured music, a human heartbeat with an instrument and a voice
Yeah.
is becoming the most valuable thing we have, and people are grateful for that, so
I love you said that because that's what Song of Sunset, the series that I'm producing is all about. It's about the the human side of music and community during the sunset hour. And we're producing a full-on series that's going to be released in October. And I'd like to maybe talk with you about that and the advent of AI generative stuff and what kind of effect that's having on our creative world, good and bad. But
yeah.
the so yeah, I like what you said there. If you're singing like a bridge on over troubled water, putting up your gig tip. So at a funeral. So,
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
but so read the room. Phil, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll be
Absolutely.
speaking with you in the near future. Wishing you a very, very good end of February. All right.
Thanks, Brian. See you.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.